Thank you so much. Sorry for the delay. It happens. So we are here, beautiful campus. It's great platform for all of us, learning opportunities. Before we wanted to start, so little bit warm up, right? So actually, Venkat actually took us to peak. But let's start with a small warm-up. We all comfortable sitting next to each other, someone we come with. Can we turn back and say hello to the person that you don't know? It's all about networking. What we learn here is a great platform. So a couple of years ago, I was here sharing the stage, talking about the mobile, the technology, where it is heading. Then I said, there's no better time to be a mobile technologist. It's lived up to its expectation in many ways. Fast forward 2 years, we have seen the device is actually helping connect meaningfully our lives. We embraced it. So change the way that we communicate, change the way we actually take the life moments with us. More than a device, it has become a personal technology we all carry. And somebody said like they can give a 3 months vacation, but not give their mobile device, right? When it comes like the device becomes more personal, it enables human potential. A lot of apps we see which are enabling us to like build new habits. So kind of like enabling blind people to see is actually touching what technology can do. With 2016 alone, so we have seen almost 1 trillion hours of digital spend on mobile. It's a huge number. Where people are spending time, they're spending time on social, right? Social platforms, and it's actually the biggest beneficiary. And other places where we spend time is actually media or entertainment, news, and these kind of applications. And people, so when they actually go there, the mobile has becoming a primary channel for all these social media networks. And the other side, the business, who pay for us, is actually 81% of the CEOs are thinking mobile is actually a strategic initiative. And they're pouring millions of dollars building the applications. But if you see the results, there's very little that comes from the mobile. So yet, it's only 0.01% of the mobile applications out of 2.6 million in Google Play Store or 2 million in Apple App Store is actually 0.1% is actually considered as financial success. So only 16% conversion rate in the m-commerce. Only 13 apps per day I use. So I move all of my apps to home screen, kind of use some of these things like which I'm very used to. And this is actually a very limited number of apps. And 50% of the time goes on to one application out of those 13. And it takes 90 days for an app to die, if it is an average. All the stats tells one side, the mobile has become personal, and it has so many wonders it can do for us. But if you compare the numbers, it's actually not living up. Why is the question. So let's take the small research that what you see here is actually when the app is actually very simple, right? So the customer engagement is high. And as I add more features, product owner comes, hey, I mean, this is great success, and let's add one more feature. So it's kind of like the engagement dips and more features, and like it's not working, and to get to a point that let's add push notifications, but users will turn off them. Let's add like location, track them where they are, give some more engagement, but they will turn it off. But it's actually kind of like going drain, right? But until there is a need for an intervention that tells it actually has to make sense to me, what is there in the app. It has to connect well with my needs. And if you see those, it's not just about like having the utility value. It's not about having great UI, visual design. It's about, is it helping me? Is it like kind of not making me think too much? Or is it like giving me a novel utility value, right? So this is actually kind of, when it happens, the app engagement goes above again. So like from dipping, the intervention that is required will actually go to like the engagement. So this question raises like, are we reaching the breaking point? I would say we are not yet, right? So some of the developments that are happening, we have seen like Venkat asking question, like what are the latest technologies? We have seen artificial intelligence is one of them, which is actually reaching a tipping point where the computers are actually smarter, some places smarter than us. It may not be perfect, but it's actually good to put out there. And we are seeing cloud, which is actually becoming pervasive, and even financial institutions are actually leveraging cloud. We are seeing network, faster speed, watching IPL on the phone, right? And we are actually kind of getting a better at voice technology, much better voice recognition, speech to text, text to speech, these aspects, right? And computer vision, like the computer can sense now with like faster than what it used to be. So all this actually coming together, there is a collected intelligence. That's actually the next level of revolution that's happening in the digital space. So with this, I'm going to be getting to conviction that the future of the UI is actually no UI. That's for the age of AI. So what does that mean? The current interfaces that what we have, be it app or like desktop or the browser, is actually not taking advantage of the power of the intelligence that the digital systems or computers are actually getting into. There is a lot of interfaces or inference that's actually making the engagement low, right? So that is actually kind of giving us, it's not that mobile is going to go away or it's not desktop will not exist anymore, but we will get into a new form of these, like getting in, so which will enable us to interact with these efficient systems much better way than what we are doing now. So there are waves of interface touch points. We have seen like kind of punch cards to the mouse. We felt happy when we see a graphical user interface, and then like touch has become more human. For us, so like kind of we felt that we are actually touching the digital and feeling it, but it has like so many limitations. Now we are actually 1 foot into the next wave of the interfaces. So what does that mean is actually some of the things that what you see here are voice or conversational interfaces. We'll get into each one of those, right? So my invitation here is actually moving from navigation to conversation. So what that does mean is actually, I mean, we have built the apps with tab bar, and Facebook created originally tab bars, and then like went to drawer menu, became famous, and everybody followed it, and they came back to tab bar again. So it's not that like it's easy to solve the complex functionality by just changing these interfaces, right? So make them conversational. So how can we do that? Is actually kind of leveraging the technology that's advancing now. So Satya Nadella says that the company which is actually built on the foundation of Windows and Office, actually telling that they need a conversational platform, not Windows and Office. So that means like there is a new level of engagement that actually the interface can create. So I actually did not want to rely on JDD. So I shot a little video. So it's just the conversational interface. And you can see that it's actually kind of greeting me the moment like I actually started using. So it asks me questions. I don't have to type too much. Like kind of going like kind of a theme park and what is my interest. So I can say thrill and like kind of what is my food interest, right? So all these things, like kind of it's easy for me naturally. I'm actually conversing with the system or application. It becomes like there is a permission, it can actually go wrong. right? So it can say, no, I don't understand what you are saying. But because we are conversing with the application, we don't switch to Twitter and tweet about your app sucks, right? We can actually ease our frustration there. At the same time, so we can actually say thank you when I feel really happy about something got done with the application. So whereas now, like, we write random algorithms, like maybe 10 times after visiting the screen, like show pop-up, something says that, do you want to give feedback? I'm not in the mood of giving feedback at that point of time, but I actually I'm forced to do something. Either most of the time I'm not interested now. So what you seeing here is actually, very lively conversation, which actually takes us that we are actually interfacing with the digital, but in a more human way, right? So next wave comes voice. So the encouragement here is actually move from mobile first to voice first. So what does that mean? You would have seen smart speakers or Alexa or Google Home coming in. So the Google being known for search, they are saying the future of search is going to be like not more with the screens. So 30% of that search is going to happen in 30 months' time without screens. It's a huge thing, right? So people are already using this technology for interacting with, like knowing, I don't want to know like kind of the full page with like tiles everywhere, where I want to just know how to go to like counter where I can actually get my tickets. So I just have a question, I can interact with the application, whereas it becomes like kind of very complex user interface. So we already seen the big boys club actually releasing many things, Siri being the first. So now we have Alexa, so Google Home coming in. Samsung recently acquired its own voice technology called Wave. So this gives a new ways of interaction, right? So it's more like humanizing digital experience. So I'm actually talking to someone. I'm talking to someone like I'm talking to my friend. Or I'm actually calling Alexa in between my breakfast conversation with my son, like when some question came up and I don't even know what it is, I can just ask Alexa. So what's actually put together a small video again, so it just kind of give you how this works. It's like while I'm doing something, I'm actually getting something done. So I don't need to pick up my phone. So it's actually much better sensors with voice activation technology, which I can actually kind of recognize my voice much faster, better, and also like kind of getting things done. So it's while I ask for tickets, right? So it's just helping me finding where the show is happening, and also like making a reservation for me and send to my phone, right? So this is actually very natural. I can do my things at the same time. I'm actually kind of interacting with the digital world. It gives me so much flexibility and also convenience, right? So why voice now is a big question, right? So voice was there, like we have heard like computers talking like quantum language and hard to follow. There's no emotion in the way that computers speak. But what we are seeing, some of the latest things, is actually just like 1.2 seconds for activating like any voice. Hey Siri, just like comes up, right? You don't even realize it's actually started working for you. And the voice accuracy, recognition accuracy has reached like 95%, which is the tipping point at this point of time. So 5% can actually get better in a few months, right? The speed at which things are changing. And most importantly, Stanford had done a research which tells that, two people sitting next to each other, one fast typer actually trying to type something, the other person use the voice. So it's 3x% faster than I can type. So if you take that, I don't have to really, the system is actually working fast, the digital world is faster, but my input is actually slowing it down, right? So I can compete with the intelligence that is growing, so leveraging the new ways of interactions. So next thing comes up is actually the immersive. So I'm encouraging here, again, going from interfaces to immersive experience. So what does immersive experience means? And we have seen Facebook benefiting from mobile. 70% of the Facebook users spending time on mobile. They're coming and saying that the future is actually with no smartphones or keyboards. It's going to be smart glasses, right? So where is this going? So if you see, like, I mean, if I just take this entire auditorium as my screen versus like 3.4-inch versus iPhone, 6 or 7 or tablet, where I actually browse something on my phone and have to really see that product, I have to switch to my desktop, versus this entire space becomes my interface, becomes immersive. I can still use voice, or I can use gaze, like, which is again like kind of mouse with moving around. I can activate certain things. It's a new way of interacting with the digital world, which becomes more immersive and personal, and your mobile takes different forms in giving you that entry into the digital world. But it's not just for fun, right? We have seen VR, AR, and mixed reality for games like Pokemon Go or like some experiences. But Gartner predicts that by 2020, there will be 100 million consumers shopping on augmented reality. So I'm sure like a lot of buzz around this, and also business is actually trying to get onto this. The last one is actually much spoken about, is actually the IoT, right? So they are just things so far, but they're actually the digital gateways for the future. And we have seen the numbers. The very simple thing, like Amazon has released dash button, which is just like stick it to refrigerator or like some wherever washing machine, you just press a button. So what do you call this as an interface? It just orders for you. So I don't have to think twice so what it is going to be. I can actually stick like whatever the product that I want to have it, personalize it, use it the way that I like it. So it gives like more personal experience with the technology as a backend. With this, I coming to the closing notes, which telling that the future is not too far. We already in the future. It's just kind of uneven, right? So my encouragement here for everyone is that shift towards the innovators, right? So like kind of don't stay back, and like when the technology becomes more mature, it's widely adopted, everybody is using, then I will jump onto it. Or encourage your clients to be innovators or close to the innovation where things are happening. It's okay to put it out there, something not working, but at the same time, like you actually, taking leapfrog in the way that the technology can be taken to the full advantage. So with that, what we believe as an organization is actually the reimagining the experience. So the mobile or the desktop or browsers or immersive. So we need to bring our art and craft together to create those immersive experiences, and which will give the potential of the digital progress that's happening, and I can feel that I'm actually interacting with someone like personal to me. So thank you so much.